The All Progressives Congress is still reeling from the outcome of the state's congresses that threatens to deepen the divisions within an already fractured political party. In Oyo State, the Congress was postponed. There were parallel congresses in Kwara, Niger, Osun, Ogun, Ekiti, Akwa Ibom, and a lot of those APC states. But the loud silence of the caretaker leadership of the party and its inability to take a stand when it matters has worsened the situation. I'll bring you my conversation with Alphonsus Eba. He is the chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Cross River State. Your own case is different. You emerged through consensus, but that was not the case in some other states. We can name them: Kwara, Niger. We had so many states where there were parallel primaries and parallel conventions, and people have said that these state conventions have further deepened the divisions within an already fractured political party.
Yeah, you see, one thing that is true about a big political party, and because I've experienced it before when we're on the other side, everybody knows that having control of the structure of the political party means so much to your success, even as we work towards 2023. So there are bound to be these disagreements. But one unique thing about the All Progressives Congress, which I have come to admire and love so well, is that it has clear-headed leadership that is not just focused, but that is also very, very disciplined. It gives room for all-inclusive participation. You will see from the complaints coming from some of the states you've mentioned that the building of a genuine consensus is both a constitutional arrangement and a directive that was given by the national office under the leadership of our chairman of the caretaker body, May Malabuni. But some persons deliberately excluded themselves from participating in the 7-man panel that was appointed by the national office. And so if you exclude yourself, you cannot turn back and complain. So what you will face in most of these areas that they call parallel congresses are really, really not parallel congresses. It was a deliberate attempt by some persons who felt that, and it was an unfounded fear, that the body that was coming was not going to give them fair hearing. You would have first presented yourself to that, be part of the process, so that if you're excluded, you have a right of complaint. Only yesterday, when the national office, when the party constituted the appeal panel, to go now and look at all the complaints arising from the conduct of the congresses. What will now be your complaint if you had excluded yourself from day one? But in areas where people did not exclude themselves, you see the kind of verdict that will come up. But the beauty about what we're going to say is that APC is such an organized political party, and we have very matured ways of resolving our issue because the party comes first.
But in your state, Cross River, some people will argue that the APC is not a popular party there, and they were even surprised when the governor jumped ship from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. What's in it for the APC, especially at a time when some other people would say that the party is becoming unpopular, looking at the situation of things in the country? People expected that a lot of things would change, and it appears as if the party has not delivered on all of those things it promised. So why will your governor and even the people in your state move from the People's Democratic Party to this party, the All Progressives Congress?
People make party. Let me correct that erroneous impression that APC was not in Cross River State. And I just give you a very clear answer to that. In 2019 election, APC governorship candidate, the distinguished Senator John Owaneno, had over 150,000 votes. That is even when he was running against the zoning principle that was so popular that the Northern Senatorial District should be allowed to complete its own tenure. I was in PDP then. I did not underrate them. I went to the field alongside my other colleagues to fight because we know that we had a very formidable political party called the All Progressives Congress. We were in the PDP. Senator Professor Ben Ayade had 300 and something thousand votes. with almost about 170,000 votes coming from northern part of Cross River State, because we said that we should not allow ourselves to be shortchanged. So the campaign was that if the South had 8 years, in person of His Excellency Donald Duke, and the Central had 8 years, in the person of His Excellency Governor Liel Imoke, we should be allowed also to enjoy our 8 years. And that was why almost every household came out to vote. So you will see that the 160-something thousand votes that made up that 300-something thousand we had came from other parts of the state. And that was the same vote Senator John Owaneno had in the Central and in the South. In the North, he could not get up to 10,000 votes. And that is because of the camaraderie, the solidarity that came up in the North. That is to tell you that a political party that could muster over 150,000 votes should not be taken as a phantasmagoria. And so they exist. And I can say that they exist in fact and in truth.
But we have seen situations where a governor moves to another party and sometimes wants to become the leader of the party when the party already had structures, had leaders, and moving in certain directions. It causes friction. We have seen the case in several states. It causes friction most of the time. And you coming from PDP to the All Progressives Congress, you are now the state chairman of that party. How are you carrying everybody along to ensure that these rancor that we have seen within political parties do not also mar the chances of the APC in your state?
The case in Cross River State was anachronistic. It happened at the right time. We came into a political party at the time that congresses were about to start. The revolution in Cross River State happened on May 20th, just when the party had announced that world congresses were going to start in July. So we had over a month. And the governor came in with a very free mind, very fair mind, that everybody came to embrace. If you had followed to see the reception that was given to the governor on the 30th day of May, just 10 days after he came into the party, who is who in the politics of Cross River State came all out at the Spire Event Center to declare total support. If I want to call names now, I will run out of mentioning of names. And so I don't want to take that risk of skipping some of them. But as I tell you, who is who in the politics of Cross River State that have been behind the victory ever recorded in the past 20-something years that are now with the governor in APC, came all out to declare total support. And that day, the new Cross River State that His Excellency Senator Professor Ben Ayade talked about was bettered. In fact, in the words of distinguished Senator John Owaneno, he said APC did not bet in 2014. It never bet at any time, not even in 2019 when he ran. But at the event of 20th May, when His Excellency moved into the All Progressives Party, and you would have also known, that was one defection in this country that was greeted with that kind of euphoria and encomiums, and it was everywhere. And with that reception, it was the foundation of an amicable and cordial, congenial, convivial relationship that you can ever expect to exist in a political party. And what did His Excellency do? He brought everybody to the table. In his declaration before the World Congress, he said, I will not put anybody on my shoulder and put anybody down to march on. Every leader, return to your political words. I don't want to hear old APC or new PDP. Go down, sit together. We have 27 slots. Make sure, as much as possible, on a 50-50 arrangement, make sure you carry everybody along. Let us be united. Let us blend. And that message was carried to the field. And the template we had in Cross River State became a precedent even for the national to cover.
Some people have also quarreled with the style of defection from one political party to another among politicians, especially looking at the APC now. People are also talking about the kind of people the party is accepting. They say politics is about ideologies and philosophies and also principles. So does it mean that these men who are playing the game are men that lack principles for them to be able to move from one political party to another easily?
We all have principles, but it depends on the kind of thing you call your own principle and my own principle. For instance, Alphonsus Eba's principle stands out for equity, justice, peace, love, unity. Wherever I go and I can find that, I will always go. And I should also think that most politicians that we find out to might be on that line of such principles and ideologies. Don't forget, in Nigeria, we don't have clear-cut ideologies to say this one is a leftist or a rightist. And again, the politics of this country, under the present leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari today, is the unity of Nigeria. At a time that the country is being threatened by some secessionist trend and all whatnot, people that think that the unity of this country is paramount are now regrouping. And the only political party today that offers that platform is the All Progressives Congress. I come from the PDP. I have been in the PDP. And I know what is being preached in the PDP. A party that will celebrate actionism, banditry, and all forms of violence only to bring the government in power down should not be taken as a serious political party. And I tell you the truth, that we must consider the unity of this country as the most paramount interest, because God brought us together. The population of Christian and Muslim today, you can't say which outweighs the other. I am privileged to be a product and a graduate of the University of Maiduguri. So my making today is from the north. 60% of the people that have blessed me and empowered me economically are from the north. I cannot see a country today that will be disunited. I will always fight for the unity of this country.
So what's the place of the People's Democratic Party in your state following the exit of Governor Ben Ayade, Professor Ben Ayade, and people like you? Are they down and out?
PDP is dead and died and had long been buried and is not capable of resurrection.
Even though they won't agree with you, because
they would not agree, but I can tell you, that spiritually, physically, everything that used to be called PDP is now in APC. And I started. The office that you call the PDP secretary does not exist again. That is in terms of physical structure. Everybody that had been state chairman of PDP, except Reverend Ikobi that is late, from Ambassador Sonia Bang is now in APC. From Ntofan Ekpo Okon is now in APC. From Ntofan Okon Achot is now in APC. From Ntofan Edim Enoch is now in APC. Even me that last year was like an unopposed chairman of PDP, I am now in APC. So that is what I'm telling you. Both the spirit, the structure, physically and otherwise, everything is in APC. The government house that used to be occupied by PDP for 20-something years now is being occupied by APC. And that's why I say it is dead, buried, and is not capable of resurrection.